Hey, 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 happy Friday, happy Friday. It is Jasmine Elizabeth, and you are tuned into Dear Jazzy. I don't know if you can hear me. I have my little sexy voice on. It's a little dry, but you are tuned into Dear Jazzy on our network. We are not just for the people, we are the people. So I'll give everybody time to get on and hop on this Friday. We have some cool conversations that are going to be coming forward. In the meantime, in between time, I like to remind you that this show is driven by you. So we are looking forward to you sending your emails, your questions, your comments over to Dear Jazzy, dearjazzy.com. I mean, Dear Jazzy, dearjazzy at gmail.com. So I'm going to give everybody a little bit of time to get on, to get live. And then as you do, just leave a comment in the inbox, whatever you're on, whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, leave a comment. Say hello. Say, how are you doing? Happy Friday. This weather in Denver has been crazy. As you know, we've had rain, we've had snow, we've had all those things. And I just recognize that it's Memorial Day weekend. I don't really know about a whole lot of holidays because I don't be celebrating them, but it's Memorial Day weekend, and in Denver, there's a lot to do. So make sure that you take advantage of this good weather, the different day parties, the different brunches, or just kick it with your people. I think we lost the art of just kicking it in the backyard, pulling out your grill, getting the cards out. Like, I remember that's what we used to do on holidays. Like, we used to cook out. We used to get together with family. We used to pull up spades, dominoes, maybe even some burritos. It depends on which side of the family you were with. You might either get some soul food or you might get some burritos. It depends. But do something with somebody who matters if you tend to go out and celebrate, or if you want to do something. Brunches are cool, parties are cool, but I think in this time that we're in, we definitely need community. Like, we need each other on like a real level, not this surface, shallow, pass by level, but like real, intense, get to know each other, build with each other, create community, create village with one another. Like, I think it's very, very intentional. And we're sending positive energy, love, and light to all the families that are experiencing losses and just a lot of death and grief that is taking place over our city. So we're definitely acknowledging that, making peace for that, making space for that, and just encouraging you to be with your people. Be with your people because that's important. So while we're tapping in, like I said, leave something in the comments saying that you're here. I see a couple people online. Thank you for joining, whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you may be. I appreciate you. Um, so you guys have been sending in your scenarios, and for that, I am grateful. We have two that we're going to go over today, but I really wanted to hear from the men because they're kind of questions geared to men that I don't necessarily know I can answer, but it's kind of like perspective kind of thing. So if you have one of your homeboys, your man, your uncle, your dad, cousin, whoever, have them tap in and tell us what you think about some of the things that we'll be discussing today. And as always, if you're interested in having your product, your feature, your service, your business, or your event featured, definitely send that over to Dear Jazzy, dearjazzy at gmail.com. And that's Jazzy with S's, Jassy at gmail.com. So I can't quite see the comments, but I'm going to go into a space where it allowed me to flow. Okay, so let's go to the first scenario. Let's see what we have today. All right, so I'm looking at a conversation where a gentleman wrote and said, Dear Jazzy, My wife makes significantly more money than me now and suddenly started talking to me differently, more disrespectful, more masculine energy. Is it insecurity to feel bothered when your woman becomes the provider? Um, so it's so interesting that I get these questions about like marriage and relationships, and I'm hella single because there's different dynamics that I can't necessarily speak to, but I do say that like when energy changes, I think there's always space for conversations around that. Like there's definitely space to where you have conversations. And then also, um, my question is like, what is your plan to change that? Like I know I just went from one to another, but my thought is like if you were at one point the breadwinner and you're no longer the breadwinner. And I understand like we get laid off because I've definitely experienced that where you have a loss of income, you lose your job unexpectedly, and it's something that doesn't like it creeps up on you. I get that. And so you take time, you pivot and all of those things, but then like what is your plan to put yourself back into position? And I think a lot of times women we respond to direction, we respond to plans, we respond to strategy. And so for her, she may feel like she's in a position of authority because she is the provider. And if you're not giving her any type of direction or insight or security or possible validation that things are going to change, then she may feel some type of way. She may definitely feel some type of way. Now, I'm not justifying her behavior. I'm not saying that she should be disrespectful um, or that she should have a place to definitely to talk to you in any type of way. I don't think that's right at all. But I think that that can be linked to a couple of things as well too. But so what do you think? I think someone Jim being in Friends says she sounds like she's on a power trip. And that could be true too. That could definitely be true too. I think sometimes that women do get into positions and we start feeling ourselves or we yeah, I'm not negating that at all. That can definitely be true. So I think a conversation is warranted, like a conversation, a plan and a strategy and an acknowledgement of how you feel. Like let her know like how you feel about how she's treating you or how she's talking to you and express that because I think that's important too. Expressing how you feel, expressing your thoughts, expressing your strategy and plan to shift things. But I can't speak to your insecurity. Like, I can't tell you if that's an insecurity or something that you should um, check because I think insecurities are personal. And that could be something related to like a trauma for you, a trauma for her. Um, but I do think insecurity can come from you not having a plan or if you don't have a strategy or if you don't have any intentions of changing the situation that can definitely change the situation for real. But I wouldn't let her hold the position for long. Like if you've always been the provider, if that's been your role and you're capable of being back in that position, I think that security is warranted. So I'm gonna sit and look to see. I agree with you, Jim, being that power could be definitely in the way. That's a dynamic for sure. Like that's definitely a dynamic for sure. And have you ever been in a situation where you allowed somebody to have that over you, to have that type of control or um that dynamic over you? I would like to hear your thoughts. Hold on. Before we even go on to the next scenario. Last week we talked about DNA test and like what makes a man get a DNA test. And what's crazy is I actually got a lot of responses from that. And I don't even know how I overlooked that. So before we go into this scenario any further, I definitely wanted to go back to that. We so first I had a lot of women say that their baby's dads or their kid's father had opted to get DNA tests for multiple reasons. And I was also told that like you don't have to have both both parties, like both biological parents or potential biological parents to actually take a DNA test, that you could buy one like at Walgreens. Y'all gave me so much information that I had absolutely no idea. Like, I did not know that whatsoever. Like, I didn't know that you could go order them at Walgreens or CVS, and I didn't know that a lot of people opt into DNA tests. So it's way more common than what you think. But remember the circumstances that we were talking about last week. It was a wife who her husband, the people at his job had convinced him that it wasn't his baby. And I'm like, that dynamic in itself is crazy, because how long have you been, or how long has he been working or with the people where he felt like their information or their opinion mattered? But so yeah, thank you for that insight, because I was blown away by all the responses I got to that, because it's like, no, Jazz, been there, done that. And yes, we didn't go through the courts, or some people did go through the courts and it was court appointed for different things. And I'm like, oh, wow. Because, like I said, I've only had that experience one time, but that was common practice for him. But it's like, oh, this is really interesting for sure. Like, really, really interesting. Um, so Honey Ben said she probably never respected him in the first place. That could be true too. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not even defending the behavior, because power trips do happen, shifts happen, energy happens, but conversations are always warranted. And I can tell you that women respond to plans, they respond to strategy, they respond to action. So um I'm not saying, again, don't put yourself in a place to be disrespected, because that's definitely not what I'm saying at all. Because you take losses, you lose a job, you lose income, you get sick, you get hurt, shit happens. I get that. But there has to be something in the dynamic to where y'all aren't communicating, to where she doesn't feel secure, or she feels like she's that nigga. And for some reason, she feels like she's that nigga. So you haven't communicated a plan to her, or, um, like you said, it may have never been there in the first place. It may have never been a level of respect, but now there's some dynamics where she's in a position to show you that she didn't respect you from the beginning. Jim Bean said women respond to everything. I definitely don't agree with that. I 100%, because women can be very irresponsive for for real, for real. I don't think women respond to everything. And elaborate on that. Tell me more about that thought when you say that. Like, tell me more, Jim Beam and friends. And hey, Alex, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl. That's my girl. Um, I don't know. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. There's a gang of different ways to actually do DNA tests, and I did not know that. You can mail them in. You can, yeah, buy it at Walgreens, swab, and you could literally just swab yourself and the baby. And you have to have, I don't know, but yeah, you can literally buy it at Walgreens and mail it into some little DNA center. And they have ones that you can order online. Didn't know that either. I thought all of them were either like you had to go to the court, or like you had to have at a hospital or something. Like, I didn't know that either. Um, Jim said that silence is a response to. I don't know, because I don't know if silence is a response or silence is just nothing. Like, it's just indifference. You don't matter. It's not a response or not a lack of response either. It's just indifference. And at some point, indifference isn't a response. It's just response. Cut photography said these hoes ain't loyal. But wait, is that, which scenario is that in relation to? Is that the DNA one, or is that in relation to what I was talking about with the wife? Because they're both, that could apply to both situations. But um I like to hear more about that, Jim Bean and friends, about how you respond to everything. But I don't think silence is a response. I think that can be indifference, or you just saying, fuck it, I'm over it. I don't have anything else to say. So you just keep it moving. All right. So back to the scenario that we were discussing, the first one, as people are chiming in. So in this particular scenario, I'm gonna pull it up again, where she says that, well, it's he actually. A dude wrote in, and that's why I'm happy that there's dudes in the comments, because I can't really speak to men's insecurities. But His wife makes more money and now she's being disrespectful and talks to her differently. I mean, talks to him differently and has more masculine energy. When y'all say that, like, what does that mean? When you say like more masculine energy, does that mean like she's presenting harder, or like is she being tough, or like she doesn't want to be fondled, or like what does that mean? Does it mean like, because let me be very clear, like when you got to go from being the one who is being provided for to being the one that is being the provider, like that's definitely a shift. Like your disposition is definitely going to change if you go from being, especially if you were a provider and you provided a soft and a good life for her, and now things have shifted and she's the one who's playing that role, then yeah, I think her disposition would definitely change. And I think it would definitely change for real in regards to what that would look like. So let me know your thoughts, but we're gonna pause for a second so we can get a little. Okay, so we're back. She acts like she got balls. Okay, so hold on. Facts. Okay, silence is still a response. And then Johnny Bravo said facts. And then Johnny Bravo says when she acts like she has balls. So is that audacity? Is that meaning that she's speaking to you differently because now she has position to, right? Or what is, she has balls? Is she handling you differently? Is she, because again, you have to remember when a woman has to shift from being cared for to being the carer, that shit's different. It brings out a whole different type of aggression because nobody wants to be that, especially not a woman. And if at some point that's what you were, then yeah, that makes things different. And you said to that, whether a man comes with the strategy or not, the fact of the matter is whether a woman reacts to the action or not, it's still a reaction. That's a whole bunch of redundancy, my friend. You didn't even say nothing there. You just said that if we react, it's react to the action or not, it's still a reaction. But you just told me that you don't have any action. So what am I reacting to? If you have a strategy, I can guarantee you that your woman is gonna be on board. Well, she should. She should. That's the key. Like, if you have a strategy, if you have mission, because that's the goal, that's the purpose of a woman to me. Anything that you bring to a woman, she's supposed to make it better. She's supposed to make it gold. She's supposed to make it grow. Like, that's what we're supposed to do. But if you're not bringing her nothing and you're expecting her to provide everything, and you're not, and you want her to just be soft and loving and nurturing towards you while she's fulfilling your role, that's crazy. That doesn't even make sense. And I'm not saying that there's not times where we transition, because again, I'm going to ride with you. Wheels off, we're down, 10 toes down for real. You fall off, I got you. Cool, no problem. As long as you have a plan. But if you're down, I'm not staying there with you, not comfortably. Like, that's not the goal. That's not the goal whatsoever. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree. But I do agree, like, if you're not coming with nothing, or if you're coming with nothing, then absolutely she might just dog walk you, especially if she got that dog in her. She might dog walk you. And it happens. It happens. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It happens. So I do think it's important. But also, again, remember, this is husband and wife. So this is totally different too. I think there's rooms for communication. I think that this conversation that you're having with us, you definitely should bring to your girl, however you see fit, whether it's a song, a conversation, a text message, a therapist, whatever. But what causes a man to feel insecure? I think that's like personal conversations. I can't really speak to that. I don't know. I don't know insecurities for men, but imagine I would imagine that going from being the provider or being in charge to now your wife is taking care of you. I could imagine that would make you feel some type of way. What do you say, Johnny Bravo? And what do you say, Jim Being Friends? Like, if that shift happened in your household or in your relationship, would that make you feel some type of way? Or would you bounce back? Or like, what does that look like for you? And when I say your role, what I mean is men are providers, and you can't take that away from the fact that men are providers. And you can say, well, I don't care. Your role as a man is a provider, whether it's for yourself, your family. And I'm not saying that women are not supposed to be able to take care of themselves, because women are to be able to provide for themselves when they're independent, and they should be in position to help you when you fall. That's what I'm saying. But men are providers. So, yes, I'm going to stick to that. Your role. If your wife is fulfilling your role as a provider, then that might look a little funny, or she might feel some type of way. And again, this is the husband wife dynamics that you agreed to. That's the dynamics of marriage. And people want to argue that, but like that's the foundation of this concept of marriage. Husband and wife, men provide, women nurture. That's what the concept is supposed to be. Is that what we follow? Who knows? Because I'm not married. That's not the space I'm in. But it's what you agree to. So, yes, Johnny Bravo, your role. Are you not a provider? Do you not take care of your family? Do you not, is that not the things that you do as the man? I don't know. I guess we can argue that as well. So, that actually is a good pivot into the second scenario, which I thought was interesting because I don't really know how to answer this one either. So the second scenario I thought was pretty interesting because it was a girl who wrote and asked about if her baby's dad is a good dad. And so she said, um, Dear Jassy, my ex says he's a great father because he buys shoes, phones, and clothes for the kids, but he never actually spends time with them. Men in her comments say women only care about emotions and not providers. So that's why I said this is a good pivot or caveat or spin, not caveat, but a good pivot into the second scenario. Because I wonder, like, do men really feel that way? Like, do men only feel like their role or their value is in like financial stability or what they provide financially? Because I know a lot of men who feel like because they make sure that their kids tuition is paid and that they have everything they need for seasons and clothes and that they can play in sports, that they're really a good father. And I don't discount that as well, but I also think that it is important to spend time with your kids. And so um it's two parts. So one part is asking, like, do you believe that your role is to be the provider? And then if so, do you think providing financially is just enough for your kids? Like, does that um do you feel that to say, does that, how am I trying to word this question? Um Do you feel like fulfilling financial obligations make you a good father? Or do you think like it's a holistic approach? Is it an and two? Or sometimes I understand that like um when men work certain positions or in certain fields or careers, that their schedules don't allow them to necessarily have a lot of time and a lot of space. And I know that personally with one of my kids, like her dad works overnights and he works weekends. He works at the airport. It's a very demanding shift. And so their time is limited, but it's very rich. Like he's very intentional with his time with her, like very, very intentional. And he's the girl's dad for sure. Like they have matching shirts and outfits and everything. But because of his schedule, he has very limited time. But I think he's a dope dad. And I think that um yeah, I think he's a dope dad. And I think it's a lot to do with the fact that even though his schedule is limited, he makes time. And I think that that's important, like making time for your kids even in the limited amount of time that you do have, because sometimes you don't got it, like financially. Again, that goes back to our conversation for the first one. You might not be able to do anything for your children financially. You may not really have it, but you can crack a joke with them. You can FaceTime them, because I'm pretty sure you're keeping your phone on. You can take a walk around the park with them. And I think we don't really value experiences with our kids. Hi, Honey Bands. I'm so happy you tapped in. It's always fun. And I do be feeling like fuck these kids a lot of times too. But I do think you can only say fuck these kids when you're actually involved with your kids. Like you can only say that when you're actually involved with your kids. But so what do you think, Jim Bean and Friends, or what do you think cut photography is? Money enough? Is it and two, either or? Growing up, like what would you prefer? Because for me, I think my relationship with my dad evolved over time for sure. Like he was always there financially, but as I got older as an adult, we built more of a relationship, like intimately, like a personal relationship. And I do think that my relationship with my father as an adult holds a lot of weight. Like as a young woman, as an adult, I can't necessarily say that I remember our times together prior to us being to me being a teenager, but I know he was there. But he lived in Boston and I lived here in Denver, so we would do like a lot of commuting. But I know every motherfucking Christmas, birthday, holiday, I had gold from the time I was a baby, necklaces, jewelry. Like my daddy definitely spoiled me and took care of me from the time I was a little girl. So I do remember that, but I do think that my time with him now has been far more rich. And I don't have none of that jewelry and shit from when I was a baby. Like I don't have none of that, unfortunately. But I can really recall our conversations together. Like I was just with him last month in Florida with my son and his dad, and it was just a really dope experience. And so I think that um parenting is far more than just being able to just provide financially. But I don't ever want to discount the fact that you may not be able to show up for your kids in the way that you want to, and so you're able to express your love and yeah, your love and your support for your babies through buying things. But I wouldn't say that you can't say he's not a good father. Um, but again, you said that he never spends time. I don't. So here's the thing: we women, we're hella dramatic, and we will. What's that fucking word? We'll put a 2 on a 10. Like we'll put a 10 on a 2. We'll I highly doubt if he is buying shoes, phones, and clothes for his kids, that he never sees them. Like never, never, ever, never, ever, ever. I don't believe that. So I feel like there might be space for that too, because I just don't believe that he never um sees them. So I don't know. But okay, let me go back into the comments, because Jim Bean says that now you're adding words to my dialect. Never said I'm not providing any action. With the reaction, there's a reaction. If a man is trying to communicate and she ignores him, that's a reaction. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But what I'm saying is, no, that's fair. If you're trying to communicate and she ignores you, that is a reaction. But what I'm saying is like indifference isn't always a reaction. It's just kind of like a closure. It's like closure. It's like peace. It's not necessarily I'm reacting so that you can respond. It's just like I'm kind of over this, so I don't have anything to say. But I'm not. denying what you're saying. I do agree with you. Like, you're right. That is fair. If you're trying to communicate and she ignores you, that is a response. That is very fair. But I do think it is indifference. And again, I'll say a woman's role is to nurture and to take whatever it is that you are providing and make it 1,000 times better. So your home, your peace, your dreams, your job, your sex life, like all of that. Like, that is the role and the responsibility of a woman. That's what I think. We can argue that, but that's how I feel. Your children, like your children, everything, like your woman, your wife should be a nurturer, safe space, all of that. That's how I think. Who's being dramatic? Hi, Geico Geeko Green. You always pop in so randomly, and I like that. Where where have you been? Women always have another man in. Oh man, here we go. I don't think that's true. Women always have another man in reserve so they feel they can talk and treat a man like shit when he is down. I don't agree with that. We're not having that conversation because that's not true. You're not going to come and say that at all. No, I feel like, again, there could be ways and shifts in relationships. And I don't want to say like all that women, married women are out here cheating on their husbands. Like, I don't want to put that in the atmosphere. And don't go further on that comment because I know you want to, but don't. We're going to shift that for another day. That's not the focus for the conversation today. I believe that she's honest and she's faithful, so we're not doing that. So that's what I'm saying too, Jim Beans, that the time with your children is beyond important. So she's over exaggerating. I agree. I agree. I agree. No argument there. And that's what I'm saying too. Like, women have to kind of like, we as, listen, moms, y'all gotta stop being bitter. It's so crazy to me how many women say to me, so I have 3 kids. They all have their own dads and they all have amazing relationships with their fathers. I only have my kids half a week because all their kids, my oldest son actually lives with his dad. My babies, I only have them half a week because they go with their dads. It's 50-50. Cool. I don't have no issues, no problems. We exchange Mother's Day's gifts, Father's Day's. It's cool. Like, it's cool. Beautiful. It blows my mind how many women say to me, like, "Oh, I can't believe you let your kids go with their dads," or "What do you mean your kids go with their dads every week?" I'm like, "Nigga, what? Like, what are you saying? How do you not, like, first off, it's not a let kind of thing because those are their kids too. Like, we got to get over that. Like, let your dad, like, let your let that man be a dad. Let him take them kids. Why are you stressed 100% 7 days a week, 365? That's the dumbest shit ever. If you got a man who wants to be a man to them kids, as long as it's a healthy environment and they're not in a hazardous situation, y'all be tripping. That whole, I don't let my kids go with their dad because he got a bitch. You're dumb. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Meet her if you feel some type of way. And if it's a different girl every week, meet the new girl every week. You are bugging. And at the same time, that's not fair to the kid because you want to hop on social media and talk about how you're a single mother doing it all by yourself and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not taking away from the women who really are holding it down where the men just are not present or they're not healthy or it's just not the right situation. I'm not negating that. But there's some of you brides where y'all are just bitter and dumb. And y'all should probably get over it for the sake of you and for your kids. Because you deserve to live a life too. So just, yeah. So you always say that, that they're not loyal. I don't think hoes are meant to be loyal. That's, they're hoes. Hoes are not meant to be loyal. That's not the thing. So problem these days, women will be in a happy relationship or so will men. I don't think that's contingent to a sex. I think that's contingent to personality and what you desire. I think men and women are in relationships, happy and unhappy, still seeking more. But yeah, I don't think that is just specific to one pursuit, to just men. Leave the government assistance alone and allow the man back in the home. Let's start there. Okay, so that one's old. That one's old. That one's old. because there's far more independent women right now who are not on government assistance, who are actually doing things independently on their own, buying houses, buying properties, buying land, and they're not relying on um, the assistance, and they're actually seeking for men to come back into the home. The question is are men in position to lead the home? Are men in position to actually hold that weight down? But there's niggas on Section 8 too. Don't just try to put it on women. And you don't have to just be a woman to get Section 8. You can be a man. Wait lists are open. I know men who apply every time the wait list is open. You can be a veteran. There's a lot of different ways that you can get government assistance. So that one's played out for me, Jim Beam. We got to do a little bit different. Um, no, we shouldn't be paying bills for thoughts. I don't think so either. But I agree that your time with your kid is most important. I think that we have to stop over exaggerating the roles that we don't allow men to play in their kids' life, because I know a lot of men who do really, really want to be present in their kids' lives, and the baby's moms make it so difficult. And I'm like, for what, girl? Just it's okay. It's totally okay. And then I also know men who just aren't around. And like I said, that's not okay. But karma is a motherfucker, and that shit catches up with you in one way or another. So I definitely encourage you to really sit and and it's not a gratitude thing, because I don't think we should congratulate people for doing the bare minimum. So I'm not gonna say, oh, be thankful that he provides clothes and shoes and blah blah blah. No, because that's his job as a father. Like, he should be doing that. But I also do want you to sit back and really think about, is he really a good father? Because I would highly doubt to say, I would highly believe that if he's making sure his kids are good, that he never spends time with them. And then if he never spends time with them, why not? Because if he's willing to invest in his kids, then more than likely he wants some type of relationship with his kids. So what is that dynamic like? And if you're being the problem or the barrier, then you gotta fucking check yourself and just get out the way so that he can be a dad. But yeah, so that's my thought on that one. So we have been on here for an hour exactly. So we are going to definitely wrap it up so you can enjoy the rest of your Friday, along with the other podcasts that are going to come on this evening. But in the meantime, definitely make sure that you send your questions, your comments, your thoughts to dearjassy@gmail.com. And it's Jassy with S's, Jassy. Um, and thank you for that information on them freaking DNA tests. I had no idea that you could do all that. That's amazing to me. And then I also do want to hear what you thought, what you as men think your role is, because Jim Bean, you went on a whole different tangent, even though I asked you, what do you believe as a man, what your role is? Are you a provider or not? If I say your role as a provider, why does that come off offensive, or why does that come off questionable? And then also, spend time with your kids. Like I said, spend time with your kids. You don't always got to have money. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, a walk around the park, go push them on the swings, FaceTime them, have a conversation, shoot a text message. That's far more valuable than things that you can buy them. And I can guarantee you that just from personal experiences with my dad, for sure, for sure. And then the other thing that we discussed, so we did the DNA. Oh, and men insecurities. Like, tell me, how does that work? Like, as a man, what makes you feel insecure? Because again, I can't answer that question. So y'all are hella responsive in my chats on Facebook. And y'all do actually send responses to the email. So keep them coming. Dear Jassy at gmail.com. And you can find me on Facebook at Jasmine Elizabeth, and on Instagram at Jasmine Elizabeth Inc. if you want to send your responses that way as well. But until then, I will catch you next Friday around the same time, around the same place, on our network, where we are not just for the people, we are the people. And we'll see you next week.